story of Joseph begins with his father, Jacob. Now they settle in the land of Canaan, where his father had lived as a foreigner for many years, and he had many sons. But his favorite, the one he loved the most, was his youngest one, Joseph. Joseph's his little kid in the middle.
He has a coconut cut.
Yeah, he's got the nice
Bowl cut?
Afro bowl cut, you know. Yeah, Jacob loved Joseph, the youngest one here, more than any of his other sons. And all his other sons were from Jacob's other wives, right? So these were his stepbrothers. Now, since Jacob loved Joseph more than all the other ones, what do you think the other brothers thought of Joseph?
They hated him.
Exactly.
They hated him.
Yeah. They didn't like him. They didn't like him that much because he had so much favor with his father, and his father favorited him. So, one night though, Joseph had a dream, okay? He had a dream, and when he told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. But in this one it says, "Listen to my dream. We were out in a field tying up bundles of grain. Suddenly my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine." So then his brothers responded, "So you think you will be our king, do you? Do you actually think you will reign over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dreams and the way he talked about them. Soon, Joseph had another dream. "Listen, I've had another dream. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed low before me." This time he told the dream to his father, Jacob, as well as his brothers. Now, his brother got super mad at him. This time he told the dream to his father and his brothers, but his father scolded him. "What kind of dream is that?" he asked. "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually bow down and serve you? Bow to the ground before you?" But while his brothers were jealous of Joseph, his father wondered what the dreams meant. Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to pasture their father's flocks in Shechem. When they had been gone for some time, Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers are pasturing the sheep at Shechem. Get ready, and I will send you to them. I'm ready to go." And then Jacob says, "Then come back and give me a report." So Jacob sent him on his way, and Joseph traveled to Shechem from the home in the valley to Hebron. When he arrived, a man from the area noticed him wandering around the countryside. "What are you looking for?" he asked. "I'm looking for my brothers," Joseph replied. "Do you know where they are pasturing their sheep?" "Yes," the man told him. "They have moved on from here, but I heard them say, 'Let's go on to Dothan.'" So Joseph followed his brothers to Dothan and found them there. So he leaves his father sends him to go check in on his brothers, right? Now notice that his brothers were out doing all the work, right? They were out in the fields doing work, tending to the sheep, while Joseph was staying back home. Now, maybe in their eyes, what do you think they thought of that? That they're out there doing all the work, and Joseph here, the favorite son, is getting to stay home and doesn't have to do all the labor away from home. Like they're in a completely other town, different town. So Joseph goes to check up on them. They're not there. He goes even further to check. Now, so he's coming in to Dothan. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. So they see him way out far. As he approached them, they made plans to kill him.
What?
His own brothers.
No!
They see his brother from far off, and they said, "We can kill him. Father's not here. He wouldn't know." So, "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell our father," and it's like one of these caves. Like they go down the hole into the ground. "We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard their scheme, Reuben's one of the brothers, okay? When Reuben heard one of the schemes, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him into this empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without our laying a hand on him." Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father. When Joseph arrived, his brothers ripped off the beautiful robe he was wearing. So his father gave him a beautiful robe, which made all the brothers a lot more jealous as well, because he only gave it to them. The brothers gathered around him, ripped off his robe, and then they ripped off his robe he was wearing. Then they grabbed him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. Then, just as they were sitting down to eat, they looked up and saw a caravan of camels in the distance coming towards them. It was a group of Ishmaelite traders taking a load of gum, balm, and aromatic resin from the Gilead down to Egypt. So maybe they're thinking, "Oh no, people are coming," and we just threw our brother down here. But then they're traders, so instead of hurting him, let's sell him to those Ishmaelite traders. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. And his brothers agreed. So when the Ishmaelites, who were Midianite traders, came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver.
That's a lot back then.
Yeah, I don't know really exactly what it equates to, but it was probably a good amount for a slave. And the traders took him to Egypt. Sometime later, Reuben returned to get Joseph out of the cistern. When he discovered that Joseph was missing, he tore his clothes in grief. So this was Reuben. Reuben came back to rescue Joseph, but sure enough, Joseph was gone out of the hole. So he tore his clothes in grief. Then he went back to his brothers and lamented. "The boy's gone. What will I do now?" Then the brothers killed a young goat and then dipped Joseph's robe in its blood. They sent the beautiful robe to their father with this message: "Look at what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son?" So the robe that his father, Jacob, gave Joseph, that was beautiful, and the other brothers got jealous over because Jacob only gave it to Joseph. They took that robe, they ripped it off him, remember? And they kept it after they sold him, and they left him there. They killed a young goat, dipped the robe in the goat's blood, and sent it to their father Jacob, saying, "Isn't this your son's robe?" So it's obviously showing, they're trying to infer to their father that he died. "Doesn't this belong to your son?" Their father recognized it immediately. "Yes," he said, "it is my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph has clearly been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes and dressed himself in burlap. He mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family all tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "I will go to my grave mourning for my son." As in, I will die mourning for my son. I'll never stop mourning for him till I die. "I will go to my grave mourning for my son," he would say, and then he would weep. Meanwhile, the Midianite traders arrived in Egypt. So this is past. Now this goes back to Joseph. Where is Joseph right now in the story? He's with the Midianite traders. They're taking him to Egypt. While back at home, the father, Jacob, thinks he's been slaughtered by some animal, and his brothers are going with it yeah, he's dead. They're telling his father, "Yeah, your son's dead." He's over here crying and mourning, when in reality, over here in Egypt, he's being taken to be a slave. So the Midianite traders arrived in Egypt, where they sold Joseph to Potiphar, an officer of the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Potiphar was captain of the palace guard. So that's the end of this part of the story.